So
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you to everybody who's on this call who took the time out of their day to do this. I know this is your business, but I also know how hardworking each of you are, and the time is so precious these days. So I really appreciate each and every one of you joining and adding your presence to this call, because you're all contributing to what we're creating in just this next 45 minutes. So I'd like to get started by doing a meditation, guiding you in meditation. But before we drop into meditation, if you would, please grab a paper and a writing implement, pencil or pen. Just have it close by so that you won't have to go running off at the end of the guided meditation experience. So just have that ready. And now I'd like to just state what my intention is for the next few minutes together, and encourage you to do the same. My intention is to create a space where you can drop into your innermost self. That's my intention. If you bring other intentions today, which is entirely possible, if you have something that you are working through or that's heavy on your mind, or that you would like some clarity around, but we're not going to actively think about anything, just call that to mind now and ask for greater clarity, and then just allow that to rest. Just release that. And now I'd welcome you to sit back in your seats. And if anybody's working from home and they can lie back on their couch, I don't know, then go ahead and do that as well. Go ahead and just rest in your seats. Place your backs on the back of your chairs. Notice your feet on the floor. So I'm gonna reposition myself. I had my feet up. Now I'm gonna place my toes firmly onto the floor because I'm kind of short, so only my toes fit here. And if you are comfortable doing so, close your eyes. Just allow yourself to close your eyes. The eyelids flutter close. If you're not comfortable closing the eyes, this is not a must. There are never any musts in yoga and meditation. You can just close them to half cast so that you're still aware of your surroundings. And just begin to bring your attention closer to your physical body. So you're going to begin to draw your point of focus in. And to do that, we're going to use a few tools. So if you could begin to notice all the sounds that you can hear from the farthest away. Perhaps you're in a building and you can hear cars or your coworkers eating lunch. So you're just going to notice that. And these are opportunities to observe, not really an opportunity to comment or join in conversation with what you're observing. We're just observing here. And as you do that, begin to pull the sounds in closer. So you're getting closer to yourself. Now, let's see if you can notice the sound of your own breathing, your breath. Perhaps you can feel now the breath moving into the nostrils and out through the nostrils. On your next inhale, allow your body to lengthen, right? So fill yourself up with the breath. On the exhale, release the breath, but keep that shape in the upper body, the torso. Feeling your shoulders drop away from your face, from your ears. With each subsequent breath, get long through the spine. And on the exhale, root down through your sitting bones. Imagine that you're sitting on the earth. So at once, so simultaneously, you're feeling both grounded and expanded. And if your mind is still focusing on the day that has passed already, your morning, or perhaps your afternoon, just go ahead and note to yourself, thinking, and just say to yourself, there'll be plenty of time for that later. Lots of time. Also say to yourself as you continue to breathe here, that this experience of mindful breath will allow you to come back to your afternoon tasks with renewed clarity, openness, and just energy. So allow yourself to allow this time of silence. Allow. As you breathe in this position, notice the movement of the diaphragm as it allows the breath in on the inhale, moves up vertically, and it presses against the lungs from below. On the inhale, your abdomen also expands. As you exhale, the abdomen contracts. So begin to notice this breath in the next few breath cycles. Notice the movement of the diaphragm with the breath, getting really intimate with that. And now we will begin to intentionally shape the breath. So begin to notice your body inhaling. Notice, if you can, the flow of the breath in through the nostrils. Then follow the breath out through the nostrils. Now, begin to count the breath as we breathe equally in on the inhale and the exhale. Let's inhale together. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Now continue on your own, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4 for 1 minute. As you breathe here, if that number doesn't serve you, perhaps you're inhaling for a count of 3, please feel free to adjust that. We don't want to be breathing too fast. So 4 is really the optimal length of the breath. But if you'd like to drop that down to 3 based on how you are today, please feel free to do so. If the mind has wandered off once again, just return the attention gently to the breath, to the counting. Here, the quality of the breath is of utmost importance. The breath is smooth and steady. It is relaxed. It grows deep. It is barely audible. It's unlabored and flows silently through the nostrils. There is a balance of right and left nostril. Now, as we smooth the breath, continue to smooth the breath, we notice perhaps that there's no pause. We've moved into circular breath. The breath is deep, yet the upper chest barely moves. We move into what is called samavriti, which means equal in texture, width, and length on the inhale and the exhale. Continue following the breath. Now we'll pull in some visualization. So follow my guidance as you inhale. Imagine that the breath is like a paint stroke. As you take an inhale, you're painting the breath stroke all the way up. And as you exhale, you're painting the breath stroke all the way down. See if you can make the texture and the width of the paint stroke the same on the way up as it is on the way down. Notice the color of the paint stroke. Notice the texture. Make your breath as quiet as you can, allowing it to be smooth, and see the paint stroke. Smooth all the way up, counting to your count of 4 or 3, and all the way down. Continue to count on your inhales and exhales. Remember to see the paint stroke moving up and moving down. Keep ironing out the hitches and the breaks from the breath. Begin to feel as though your body is receiving the inhale and releasing the exhale. When you inhale, feel as though you're filling yourself with vitality, sustenance, and nurturance. And as you exhale, you are releasing any worries or concerns. Inhaling vitality, sustenance, and nurturance. Exhaling worries, concerns. We'll continue for 1 more minute. Now begin to bring your attention back to the breath if you lost that attention. Beginning to deepen the breath now. Slowly, slowly, noting how the body wants to come right back. We're going to slow it down just a little bit more. And enjoy and savor these last few moments. Notice how you feel. Now slowly come back to the present and open your eyes. Reach for your journal or your piece of paper and your writing implement. And we're going to take a moment here to just free write, stream of consciousness, whatever comes out in response to these prompts. What would you like to bring into your life in 2021? We're not analyzing, we're just writing as things come to mind. Stream of consciousness. It could be something completely new or more of something you already have. And you can come back to writing about this, but we're going to run through this as bullet points, or not as bullet points. You can freehand or free write if you'd like, long, expansive writing. But we're going to move on to the next question. You can come back to these at a later date. So the second question is, what are the things that block the flow of what you would like more of into your life? What blocks these things that you're wanting to bring more of into your life? And our final question is, which of these things are you prepared to release? Which of these things are you prepared to let go of? All right, so you can continue writing as I begin my little presentation for you guys. If you feel called to do that, feel free to do that. So I wanted to share with you, I think Lexi may have shared the quote already, but if not, then I may have missed. There we go. So here is the quote that I came across that really resonated with me. And it's a quote by a Buddhist monk, a female Buddhist monk called Pema Chodron. And she says, instead of asking ourselves, how can I find security and happiness? We could ask ourselves, can I touch the center of my pain? Can I sit with suffering, both yours and mine, without trying to make it go away? Can I stay present in the ache of loss or disgrace, disappointment, in all its many forms, and let it open me? And this quote really resonates with me because this was something that was on this state that is being described was unfathomable to me for a big portion of my life. Like if you had read this to me, I would say, wow, that is a beautiful set of words. Yeah. But thank you, Austin. And as a result of not being able to sit with myself, to be in my own skin. My personal journey involved turning to other things, alcohol specifically, to make me feel comfortable in my own skin. Now, I've been sober now for 17 years, and this journey through sobriety has been a portal. And this idea of portals has been coming to me over and over again this year. And well, let me speak for myself. I was faced with, my challenges were portals, right? There were opportunities to move from one place to the next. Things got difficult if I refused to move. That was basically, if I was like a rock and I was, not moving, even though the tide, if we think of it like, like a river, if I refused to move and I wasn't going with the flow, life just became really hard, right? And I soon, and this is still the case, I realized that back then. And so I was led through sobriety to yoga and meditation. And, Pema Chodron also has, I'd like to read a little bit more of the quote that came before, because this is the perfect description of my state of mind. So she says, as long as we're caught up in always looking for certainty and happiness, rather than honoring the taste and smell and quality of exactly what is happening, as long as we're always running away from discomfort, we're going to be caught in a cycle of unhappiness and disappointment, and we will feel weaker and weaker. Instead, and then that's the rest of the quote. So that little section described me perfectly. I was just constantly looking outside of myself. So the gift of yoga and meditation has flowered. And, it sounds really, I don't know. I don't usually talk like this, but I'm really so grateful. It's palpable how grateful I am for these practices in my own life, especially and in the face of the challenges that we face today, right? When the pandemic began, I knew that I somehow needed to find a way to cope with the circumstances. And I knew that as a recovering alcoholic, that I would probably need to beef up a lot of my other practices, And so I was reading a lot of material that was coming out about the pandemic as a portal, right? Here's another challenge. And there is a beautiful article by an Indian author called Arundhati Roy about the pandemic being a portal, and I would encourage encourage everybody to read that. So crises and challenges as opportunities to dig deep, like really deep, but also being real about what we're feeling. So how can we really be the container of our feelings and also be present for our loved ones? How can we hold all of that? And the answer to that for me, and what I've tried to practice and share, is ritual. It's non-negotiables. It's things that are structural fixtures in my life. This is not easy for me. I resist any type of structure. But I've come to realize that it is hugely beneficial and I'm sure you all know this, it's hugely beneficial in, just like the breath, smoothing out the bumps, smoothing out the road. as we go along. And so, you know, they talk about choosing or responses to things in different modalities. And what I come back to is practice. There's a saying in yoga, it's a little hashtag, it's practice and all is coming. It's from the Yoga Sutras, written by Patanjali, who is one of the yogic sages. And yoga means union. Yoga means bringing together. And it sounds rather simplistic, but it is so all encompassing and so transferable to every aspect of life. Going back to what it was like for me when I was drinking, I was in no way together, you know, I was fractured. And so these practices bring all of my parts together and allow for me to look at them and say, yeah, allow for them to look at them and say, this is me. And it's okay. It's okay. I can hold this, I can hold myself. And as a result, I can be there better than okay. Exactly. Thank you, Mandy. Yes, it is actually great. Thank you, Mandy, for that. And so the idea of developing practices to root and ground ourselves in our own lives. And so this is where the idea for paving the path to 21 came from, right? We often hear about people at the beginning of the year. I always get marketing for, let's create a vision board about all that we want to achieve. And you get your magazines and you clip all the stuff out and you make the collages, and it's great. It's fun. I love that. But coming off of this year and having this space in between now and at the end of the year, I'm a planner. I write things out, and I got my agenda and I thought, why not start preparing what I can today? And this isn't like major, it's not like, you know, I'm doing spreadsheets and scheduling and stuff. No, it's really literally paving the way. It's clearing away what I've recognized, what no longer serves me. And there's a lot of material to work with from this year, you guys. There's a lot of material to work with. I have become aware of a lot of things that are no longer serving me. Hence, that third question, what am I willing to release? What am I willing to let go of? And some things, you know, I'm not really willing. And I'm just going to have to continue to move through those challenges in the same way until I get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then I will be willing to try something else. And that's how it works for me. You know, that is how it works for me. One day, I hope as a practitioner to be able to move into spaces without having to go through all the challenges, but I'm not there yet. And so for where I am today, the practices help me to see. They help me to gain clarity around what I'm doing to contribute towards all of this. It allows me, being on the mat and sitting in silence, it's like a flat screen comes up and says, this is what it is. This is what you're looking at it. And there's no forcing to deal with it. It's just a very gentle showing. It's a gentle knowing. And that is sort of what I have in mind in terms of the new offering that starts this Sunday, is to create a space for that gentle knowing to come in, and it's not about goals or what we want to achieve, or it's about really getting very close to ourselves and knowing from the heart how we would like things to be, and being okay, being great, I should say, not being okay. Accepting is the word that I'm looking for. Accepting whatever comes with grace. And so I think that is pretty much all I have to say on that, unless you guys have questions. I'm going to just review the comments here. Yeah, Arundhati Roy. That article is in the Financial Times. You can Google that, and the whole article will come up.
Lisa, whoa. So I am a thinker, and it takes me a minute to process. So I feel like this is one I can't wait to give myself some moments after our conversation here, just to be and let the questions flow and follow back up with you. There was a question that came in on social media, and I think you answered this, and I think this is us being pulled into doing versus being. So one question is, what are your rituals daily?
Yeah. Morning and evening meditation. Journaling after each meditation. I found that putting pen to paper, one, makes me accountable, and two, I have a really bad memory. It helps me to remember the things that come to me, because as I go about my daily activity, I'm like everybody else, where we're just getting from one thing to the next to the next. The space of meditation, things float to the surface that need to be heard. And this is individual for each person. They're like messages. They're messages from beneath or on high, depending on how you look at it. And just taking time to note. Dreams are also like this. If you have dreams, take time to note your dreams. So journaling about dreams, the meditation, I take time to do the things that I love doing. I love cooking and writing about food. The pandemic has allowed time for that. I spend time with my family. These are the things that mean the most to me. And those are the non-negotiables. And I also stay close to my recovery family as well. I hope I answered that fully.
A question here about, I believe that you did. It just sparks all these other questions. I want to say this here really quickly. I think for those of us that might be new to meditation, new to mindfulness, I cannot express to you, Lisa, the gift that you are. So yoga brings us together. All of us out there watching, if we're judging yoga, if we're judging meditation, that's because it's unfamiliar to us. That's our survival states at work there, our survival brain, right? And yet feeling and experiencing, and I don't know that I'll get all the language right here, so I'll trust my friends here to kind of capture it. But when I hear you lead this meditation practice, I hear the calm, I feel the calm in your energy, and that creates curiosity for me. How do I get that? I remember thinking at one point, like, how do I get more of that? Whatever that is that Lisa has, I want that. And all of this chaos and uncertainty, I want that thing that you have. So as you smiled and said, wow, I usually don't talk this way, I was like, thank you, Lisa, for talking this way. For those of us out there that are unfamiliar, you are a guiding light. Like, you are the person that the leader we get to connect with. So I'm thankful for the contact information. And now I'm just kind of probably stumbling over my words, but just really encouraging all of us with you today take a deeper look at how can we connect with Lisa? How can we plug into the experiences that you're offering, or get signed up for the next one? Because I imagine your experiences are filling up quickly.
Mm.
Because this is paving our paths, clearing our paths to 2021. That is phenomenal, and I thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your time, everyone. Thanks so much.
Lexi, can we get the contact information back up? And Lisa, I know we're over a few minutes on time. Can you guide us? Tell us next steps. How do we connect further with you in the practices that you're leading?
Sure. Lexi has listed on top the website where you can schedule an appointment. I do have a 4-week series that's starting this Sunday. It's at noon Central Standard Time, and it's a 1.5-hour session. It's going to be restorative yoga and meditation, a mix of the two, with space in between for journaling and self-reflection. And that's a 4-week class. To your point about people who haven't had a lot of experience with yoga and meditation, this practice series will be accessible to all levels and is a great introduction to those people who are just starting out. If you would like a more personalized experience, because I found that meditation, different things work for different people. And so I also offer private one-on-one consultations. And that information is also on my website, where I guide you through customized meditations, guided meditations based on what works for you. Perhaps you don't like sitting in a chair, or perhaps you need some assistance with how to support yourself, because the meditative seat, I didn't mention this, but that is very important. How you sit, where you sit. We need to be able to sustain the seat of meditation. So also, taking a few breaths every day, conscious breaths, that is meditation. If it's even a minute, just a minute. The trick is, I had a meditation teacher who says, the trick is to weave these practices into your day so that they become a part of you. They're not something that you do to bookend the day, or they can be, but in addition, you want to have like a reminder. Right now I have a reminder on my phone at 3:00. I have a little reminder that comes up at 3:00. Take the time, take a moment to call in what you need. A reminder at 3:00, because at 3:00 I'm going downhill fast in the work day. So the reminder just says, take a moment to ask for what you need. And that simple thing, every time it comes up on my phone, it just makes me smile. And whatever is happening doesn't matter for that minute. And I can go back to it and just have a clearer outlook on it. Yeah, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You'll have up-to-date notifications on what I'm offering.
What a gift, Lisa.
Thank you.
You all for joining us today. Karen Shipley, would you like to wrap us up, see us out today?
Oh, goodness. My pleasure. Lisa, much gratitude. And thank you all for participating. The gift of just your presence, your guidance through the meditation, and the many insights that you offered. The reminders about the kind of fumbling through as we learn and as we weave in those moments to breathe. It's just irreplaceable in terms of, especially within the context of the days that we're living in now. So thank you for that. And I look forward to having more and more of these conversations as we go. Namaste, Lisa.
Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Be well, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Bye.